Welcome back, pupils. It's nice to have you join me, Ms. Shamshideen, for another comprehension lesson. Do you think you have to always use a dictionary to figure out the meaning of words? Can we use a dictionary to look for a sentence and what it means? Well, the answer to both of those questions, definitely not. We certainly cannot use the dictionary to find a complete sentence and what it means, nor do we always have to use a dictionary to get what a single word means. In such a case, you might want to ask yourself, well, how can we know the meaning of a word, or how else can we find what a word means? In such a case, we use the set text in which the words and sentences are found to help us find the meaning. When we do this, we are said to be using context clues. So today, our lesson, we are going to be looking at context clues. Now look at this sentence. Ray gazed into the distance with admiration for the beauty of nature. Ray gazed into the distance with admiration for the beauty of nature. Now the question I'm going to ask you, what does the word gaze in the sentence tell us? Now, let's look at some of the things that were said in that sentence to help us find the meaning. What was Ray doing? Was he dancing happily? Was he searching frantically? Was he looking with amazement? Look back at the sentence. Ray gazed into the distance with admiration for the beauty of nature. Now, into the distance. That part would say it wasn't something that was pretty near. It had to be something that was far away from Ray. So he was looking towards something. Admiration implies that it was something beautiful. Think about you admiring something. You admire something when you think it's beautiful. So yes, when we look at something in admiration or we admire something, we stare for a period of time. Sometimes our eyes don't even blink. So based on the clues, which were the other words and phrases used, we can conclude that the word gaze means to stare or look strongly for a long period of time at something. Now I hope you understood that example that was used. We found the answer by using other parts of the sentence without even touching our dictionary. Now I'm going to read and tell you a little more about what context clues implies. Context clues are therefore those hints that the author gives to help define a difficult or unusual word. The clue may appear within the same sentence as the word to which it refers, or it may follow in a preceding sentence. Because most of our vocabulary is gained through reading, it is important that you be able to recognize and understand these clues. Now, when we are talking about context clues, you must understand that there are 4 basic types of clues that we can use in order to find the meaning of words identified. The first kind of clue we have is synonym. Now, a synonym, we know, is a word with the same meaning as another. So, in the sentence, you would see that 2 words have the same meaning. For example, my opponent's argument is fallacious, misleading. Now, if you look at the word misleading, which is a simpler word, and you might have knowledge of it, you would know that something that's misleading is just wrong. The next kind of clue we can use are antonym clues. A word or group of words that has the opposite meaning reveals the meaning of an unknown term. The example, although some men are loquacious, Other hardly talk at all. Now, you see the word loquacious highlighted. Now, what can that mean? If you look carefully, in the other part of the sentence it says, others hardly talk at all. So we could assume or we could conclude that the word loquacious means to speak a lot. Then we have the explanation type of clue. The unknown word is explained within the sentence or in a sentence immediately preceding. The patient is so somnolent that she requires medication to help her stay awake for more than a short time. Now, the word somnolent seems pretty long and difficult, something that we might not use very often. But what does it mean? How can we find the meaning? If you look on in the sentence, you will see that it says medication to keep her awake for more than a short period of time. And so we know that somnolent means that she cannot stay awake for a long period of time. Then we have the example kind of clues. Specific examples are used to define the term. Celestial bodies, such as the sun, moon, and stars, are governed by predictable law. Celestial bodies, such as sun, moon, and stars, are governed by predictable laws. And there we're trying to find the meaning of the word celestial bodies. The examples given there are sun, moon, and star, which would help us to realize that celestial body is speaking about the things that we probably find in the solar system or somewhere out there in the universe. There are some guidelines that we should use when we are finding context clues. First, we need to locate the unfamiliar word. We need to write that word or underline the word. Read before and after the word, which means that we are reading around the word. Write down words that help you to find the meaning of the word, and those we consider as context clues. Write down what you think the word means, and therefore you are making a prediction. Then you can check to see if your prediction of the meaning is correct, yes, by using a dictionary, or you can just reread to confirm. If you insert your explanation into the sentence or the meaning that you come up with into the sentence, when you reread, you should get the same meaning. Now let's look at this passage. We have some words identified that we will look at what the meanings are of these words. Ben had a real dilemma here. He had to come up with something really funny and had to do it fast. If he couldn't, there might be a new class clown at Cooper Elementary. Ben grabbed his lunch tray and moved to the salad bar, thinking furiously. Then something green caught his eyes. That was it. He carefully scooped a large spoonful of the small green slices on top of his pizza. Then he casually strolled over to where the group of laughing students were seated. He acted like he didn't even notice they were there. He sat down and began to arrange his jalapeno peppers evenly over the slice of pizza. Soon, several of the fourth graders noticed what he was doing. "No way," they said. "Nobody eats that many hot peppers." Ben continued to arrange the peppers. By now, all the kids at the table were watching, even Cameron. Ben opened his mouth as wide as he could and took a massive bite. He had so much in his mouth, he could barely chew. At first, it wasn't too bad. Then his eyes began to water, his face felt hot, and his tongue felt like it was on fire. He swallowed. Now the fire went all the way down his throat, into his stomach. Everyone at the table gasped. Then they began to smile. Then someone laughed out loud. When Ben heard that laugh, he took another bite, then another, and another. His friends thought he looked hilarious with his face bright red and tears streaming down his cheeks. He had done it. No one was looking at Cameron now. Ben finished his pizza and 2 cartons of milk, and then it was out to the playground for recess. Unfortunately, playing a game of kickball after eating all those jalapenos was not such a good idea. Ben spent the rest of the afternoon in the nurse's office, in between trips to the commode to throw up. He laid on the cot and remembered the laughs of his friends. And once, when she didn't know he was looking, he could have sworn the nurse was grinning too. Now, in that passage, the words that were underlined were dilemma, massive, casual, streaming, and hilarious. Now, what clues could we use to help us define the meaning of those words? If we look back at the part of the passage with the word dilemma, it says, Ben had a real dilemma here. Although it's a pretty short sentence, how do we know what does the word dilemma mean? Remember, you sometimes look for clues in the preceding or the next sentence. And it said, he had to come up with something really funny and it had to be fast. So, when do you have to come up with something to solve a problem? Okay? So, dilemma there means problem because Ben realized he had to come up with something. He was looking for a solution. You need a solution when there is a problem. The next word is massive. Now, if you look back at the passage, it says, Ben opened his mouth as wide as he could and took a massive bite. Now, the next sentence says, he had so much in his mouth, he could hardly chew. Now, if your mouth is almost empty, would you be able to chew? Of course you will. But if your mouth is full, how would your mouth be full? Did it mean that you took a very small bite? No. It means that you took a very big bite, that your mouth was so full that you could hardly chew. So, the meaning of the word massive is very big. Now, we have the word casual. And again, we go back to how did he move? Did he roll? Did he jump? He said he casually strolled. Now, have you ever gone for a stroll? Maybe in the park, on the beach, on the seawall? How did you go? Yes, move slowly. So the word casually there would imply that he was moving slowly. The next word is streaming. Now, if you look immediately after the word streaming, you see down his cheeks. So, we know that streaming most definitely means that something was running or flowing down. So, the meaning of the word streaming means running or flowing downwards. And then we had hilarious, with his face bright red and tears streaming down his cheeks. Now look at that. If your face looks bright red and tears streaming down your cheeks, how do you think you're going to look? Yes, you're going to look very funny. So the word hilarious there means that Ben looked really funny. And there you have it. Those were the words from our passage, which we used the clues that were in the passage, either in the same sentence with the word, or it was in a sentence that came immediately after that one. There are 2 other sentences here that you could look at and see if we could find the meaning. The first sentence reads, the first review on Harry Potter movie was favorable. Many people attended and enjoyed the movie. Some people even saw the movie 3 times. Now, the word underlined is favorable. The first review of the Harry Potter movie was favorable. How do you think that was? Was it negative? Was it uncertain? Was it positive? Or was it clear? If you look, you will see that the next sentence is, many people attended and enjoyed the movie. Now, if you enjoy something, if many people went to see it therefore means that it had to be something good. And we could simply say that something good is positive. The last sentence. Her quiet, timid ways made us guess at her true feelings about the story because she kept her ideas to herself and never spoke in class. The word we have underlined is timid. Does the word timid mean shy? Does it mean boisterous? Does it mean kind? Or does it mean seriously? Now again, if you look back at the sentence and you read on, you will see that it says, she kept her ideas to herself and never spoke. Now think about someone who is confident. Will they be quiet and never speak? Will they be afraid? No, they're going to be speaking a lot. So how do we describe someone that is very quiet and doesn't speak a lot? We say that the person is shy. Yes. And so we could say that the word timid means shy. Well, I hope that you found the activity to be quite interesting. I also hope that you were acting as reading detectives to look for the clues in the various reading texts. Let's do a general recap. Remember, clues can either be in the same sentence with the selected word or it can be in the sentence after. There are 4 kinds of context clues that we can use. They are synonym, antonyms, explanation, and example. Now, to make finding the meaning of unfamiliar words using context clues, what you do is to locate that unfamiliar word, you underline it or you write it down. You try to read before and after the word, which means that you are reading around the word. Then you think about what the word means. You're making a prediction. You can then check your dictionary to confirm whether the meaning is correct or not. Change the word to what you suggested and see if you will get the same meaning in the sentence when you replace that word with your meaning. Well, boys and girls, I am sure that you are better reading detectives now. Remember to make sure that you find the text, identify some unfamiliar words, and see if you can use context clues to get the meanings. Until next time, stay safe and remember to tune in for the other lessons right here on the Guyana Learning Channel. Bye for now.